Hello students, my name is Prerna and I'm your EVS teacher. And today from your EVS book Enviro, we are going to be reading chapter number 16. So let us start reading this chapter. So this is, as I told you, chapter number 16 and the name of the chapter is Life in Water. So we are going to read about certain plants and animals that stay in water. There are many plants and animals who live in water. These plants and animals are called as aquatic plants and aquatic animals respectively. Water bodies like seas, oceans, rivers, lakes, ponds, etc. have a large variety of plants and animals too. So we can say that life on earth originated because of presence of water. All right. So we have basically learned about the definition of aquatic plants, that is the plants which are there in water, and aquatic animals, the animals that stay in water. Now first we talk about plants in water. Many plants grow in water. They have special features that allows them to make their food through photosynthesis. We've already learned about photosynthesis in the previous chapter. Some plants, such as water hyacinth and duckweed, float on water. The whole plant, including roots, leaves, and flower, they float on the water. They have made, they have, they may have spongy leaves that help them to float. So these plants are also called as floating plants. Some of these plants, such as pondweeds and duckweeds, tend to occur in ponds and in the backwaters of streams and rivers where there is little or there is no current. Then we have water lily, which I'm sure most of you would have seen. It has light, hollow stems that reach the surface of water and leaves with a broad surface that helps it to breathe through its stomata. These type of plants are called as fixed plant because they stay at a particular place in water. They do not float. Some plants grow under the surface of the water. So there are some plants which are underwater plants. Some of these are kept in place by their roots fixed to the waterbed. Underwater plants like some ferns and star grass have narrow, thin leaves with no stomata. Underwater plants are also known as submerged plants. The gases in the water are exchanged by these plants. They absorb carbon dioxide from water and release oxygen into it. If you remember in the previous chapter, we read that because water, it is a universal solvent, it also has a lot of gases in it. So these underwater plants or the submerged plants, they use those gases which are already there in water. This makes the surrounding water clean and oxygen rich. So these are the different plants, right? So these are the floating plants, all right? And then you've read about water lily, right? And you also have the star grass, which is the submerged plant, all right? Now we talk about animals in water. Different kind of fishes and several other animals such as crabs, dolphins, whales, seals, and so they live in water. Fishes breathe through special organs called gills, and they use fins for swimming as well as for balancing their body. Other aquatic animals like dolphins, whales, etc., they breathe through lungs. So small fish, it breathes through gills, but the big fish like the dolphin or the whale, they have lungs. They come up to the surface of water at regular intervals to breathe. I'm sure you might have seen this if you've ever been to, if you've ever been on a yacht, on a boat ride, you might have seen dolphins coming out of water. They just put they just take out some portion of their mouth out of water so that they can breathe. Turtles, seals, and dolphins have oar-like flippers to swim in water. Water birds like ducks and swans have webbed feet, which help them to paddle in water. Like if you remember, if you can immediately recall what kind of feet duck has, those are called as webbed feet. And then there are some animals which live in water as well as on land, and these are called as amphibian. Example, a crocodile. All right, then you have frog is also there. These animals have lungs to breathe on land and have most a moist skin that help them breathe in water. They have limbs also that help them in swimming. Now we talk about how water sometimes is a place which gives kind of birth, maybe you can say, to a lot of diseases. So how does this happen and why does this happen? We have seen how water gives life to many creatures. It also gives life to diseases carrying insects like mosquitoes. Mosquitoes do not live in water, but water has an important role to play in their lives because mosquitoes lays eggs in stagnant or collected water. So you might have seen a lot of ads also on television by the government telling people to ensure that there is no stagnant water, there is no standing water or stinking water in and around our house because that is like a birthplace for mosquitoes which cause diseases like malaria, and in some cases they even prove to be fatal. This is like breeding grounds for mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are disease carriers. That is why we should not let water become stagnant in and around our houses or buildings. Each mosquito egg develops into a larva that swims swiftly in the water. In a few days, that larva it changes into pupa and then a mosquito comes out of the pupa. So this is the life cycle of a mosquito. So what happens that there is an egg that becomes a larva, then it becomes a pupa, and then the fully grown mosquito comes out of it. The females of most species of mosquitoes have piercing and sucking mouth parts. They must have warm animal blood at least once before they lay eggs and can develop properly. The males cannot pierce skin and they feed upon fruit and plant juice. Female Anopheles mosquitoes carry a single celled parasite that causes malaria when they bite a person. Dengue is caused by the bite of Aedes aegypti mosquito, which breathes in clear water. Now, what are the causes and symptoms of diseases? Malaria, it is caused by a protozoan. It is carried by the female mosquito. When the mosquito bites a person suffering from malaria, the protozoa are sucked up with the blood. When the mosquito bites a healthy person, the protozoa are injected into the person's blood and causes him malaria. So it becomes a transferable disease, that it can be moved from one person to another. And that is why we need to be very careful. When people have malaria, they usually have high fever, and then they have shivering on alternate days. And a person who's suffering from dengue may show symptoms like high fever, severe headache, muscle ache, joint pains, vomiting, eye pain, and rashes. Now, how do you prevent these diseases? First is we should keep our houses and surroundings clean. We should not let water collect around our house and fill up the pits. We should change water from tanks, discarded tires and buckets and water coolers regularly because these are the things that attract a lot of mosquitoes. We should install window screens or use insect repellents to protect ourselves. So when you go out to play, make sure that you have the mosquito repellent probably on your body so that you are safe from any mosquito bite. We can take the help of pest control services to make our houses mosquito free. Kerosene oil should be sprayed upon stagnant water because that makes the mosquito go away. We should bring up fish in stagnant ponds or tanks as the fish feed on mosquito larvae. As the municipality cleaners, Ask the municipality cleaners to dry out puddles and ask your elders to insist that these workers they work in a proper manner. And you can have a mosquito net also while sleeping, and you should wear long sleeve clothes to protect yourself from mosquito bites. Malaria and dengue generally happen in damp and moist places. The mosquito menace usually lessens by mid October. So it starts around July, August and goes up till mid October, as mosquitoes do not survive in very cold climates. Quin, a medicine made out of an extract of cinchona tree, it is used to treat malaria. If each one of us becomes cautious, we should be able to greatly reduce the health problems caused by mosquito and other pests. So you need to be very much careful with the like the cleanliness of your house and the surroundings. All right. Thank you so much.